गुरुदेव की जय। नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतश्वर शिल भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नितिल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टतर शतश्वर शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल विष्णु महाभागवत शिल गोक्षर प्रभुजी महाराज की जय। नितिल विष्णु शिल सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नितिल विष्णु वैष्णव सार्वभौम शिल जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूप नवगौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल पतदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंद शिव पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कौरमंडल व्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विराट गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री हरकुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। Today something special. Yes. Shilochan Das Tap. Wait, today. Never mind, tomorrow. Okay. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Grantara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Alright. Dandavat pranams, Raseshwari Mataji. Okay. Oops, let me move this over here. There. Oh, oops, I forgot to put this. Okay. By the way, if anybody wants to get notified what I'm reading and when I'm reading, we have a WhatsApp group called Daily Bhagavatam. If you want, I can send you the link. Actually, I could probably just paste in the link. Where is it? Invite group link. There. Okay, so if anybody wants to join this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam WhatsApp group, you'll find the link inside the comments. Okay. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad-Bhakti Vedanta Narayani Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravrajantam Anapetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhavo Utreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedos Tan Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. Narayanam Namaskritam Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Shrinvatang Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantasto Yabhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam. Nashta Prayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamam charanantikam. Bhakta vihina aparada lakshay kshiptashtaka taranga madhye kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Devahuti, she says to her son, Kapila Muni, who is the supreme, who is Narayana, the Supreme Lord. She says that she said that I'm disgusted with material desires leading to ignorance. You can dissipate this darkness. And then she asked her first question. Please dispel this illusion of aham mameti, I and mine. Explain about the purush, the jiva, who in this material world is trying to be an enjoyer, and prakriti, which is the material energy, that which is meant to be enjoyed. Not just material energy, that which is to be enjoyed. And so then Kapila Muni, he explains Adhyatmika Yoga, which is the yoga concerning the soul, consisting of Sankhya, Yoga, and Bhakti. And he says he explains the pivotal role of the mind and symptoms of a liberated mind. And the only auspicious path is Bhakti, which is attained by association of sadhus. And the characteristic and activities of a sadhu. He explains the characteristics and activities of a sadhu, and how a sadhu's association can gradually lead one to prema, and how the practice of jnana and yoga is incomplete without bhakti. Then Devahuti asks further questions. Her second question, what kind of bhakti will help to easily attain you? And then her third and fourth questions is, explain jnana, yoga, and its limbs. So first, Kapila Muni recommends the spontaneous bhakti, bhav. And then he explains the characteristics of devotees in bhav. That's what we read yesterday. And today we're reading about Vaidhi-sadhana-bhakti and how the greatest benefit is possible only by offering one's mind in pure bhakti to the Supreme Lord, to Kapila Muni. So the last verse we left off with was, the Lord continued, my dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friends, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time. What are such opulences? Thus he becomes completely absorbed in thought of me. The devotee does not even desire the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions. Okay, so that's what it's referring to. Such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Okay. So line one is clear. Imam lokam tatayvamam atmanam ubhayayinam atmanam anuye cheha ye raya pashavo griha viseja sarvamanyangscha mamevam vishvata mukam bhajantyananyaya bhaktya tan mrityor atiparaye. Thus, the devotee who worships me the all-pervading Lord of the universe in unflinching devotional service, gives up all aspirations to be promoted to heavenly planets or to become happy in this world with wealth, children, cattle, home, or anything in relationships with the body. Anything in relationship to the body, with the body. I take him to the other side of birth and death. Oh, and Dandavat pranams, Ganga Mataji, Gargaraj, Anjali, and Indira Mataji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Unflinching devotional service, as described in these two verses, means engaging oneself in full Krishna consciousness or devotional service, accepting the Supreme Lord as all in all. Since the Supreme Lord is all-inclusive, if anyone worships him with unflinching faith, he has automatically achieved all other opulences and performed all other duties. The Lord promises herein that he takes his devotee to the other side of birth and death. Lord Chaitanya, therefore, recommended that one who aspires to go beyond birth and death should have no material possessions. This means that one should not try to be happy in this world or be promoted to the heavenly world, nor should he try for material wealth, children, houses, or cattle. How liberation is imperceptibly achieved by a pure devotee and what the symptoms are have been explained. How liberation is imperceptibly achieved by a pure devotee and what the symptoms are have been explained. For the conditioned soul, there are two statuses of living. One status is this present life, and the other is our preparation for the next life. If I am in the mode of goodness, then I may be preparing for promotion to the higher planets. If I am in the mode of passion, then I shall remain here in a society where activity is very prominent. And if I am in the mode of ignorance, I may be degraded to animal life or a lower grade of human life. But for a devotee, there is no concern for this life or the next life, because in any life, he does not desire elevation in material prosperity or a high grade or low grade life. He prays to the Lord, "My dear Lord, it does not matter where I am born, but let me be born even as an ant in the house of a devotee." There's that verse by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Kita janma ho yatatua das bahirmukha brahma. No. Bhakta grihe jani. Oh, wow. What is it? Anyhow. Bhakta grihe jani janma ho more. A pure devotee does not pray to the Lord for liberation from this material bondage. Actually, the pure devotee never thinks that he is fit for liberation. Considering his past life and his mischievous activities, he thinks that he is fit to be sent to the lowest region of hell. If in this life I am trying to become a devotee, this does not mean that in my past lives I was 100% pious. That is not possible. A devotee, therefore, is always conscious of his real position. Only by his full surrender to the Lord, by the Lord's grace, are his sufferings made shorter. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, "Surrender unto me, and I will give you protection from all kinds of sinful reaction." This is his mercy. That is his mercy. But this does not mean that one who has surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord has committed no misdeeds in his past life. A devotee always prays, for my misdeeds may I be born again and again. But my only prayer is that I may not forget your service. The devotee has that much mental strength, and he prays to the Lord, "May I be born again and again, but let me be born of your pure devotee, so that I may again get a chance to develop myself." A pure devotee is not anxious to elevate himself in his next birth. He has already given up that sort of hope. In any life which he is born, as a householder, or even as an animal, one must have some children, some resources, or some possessions. But a devotee is not anxious to possess anything. He is satisfied with whatever is whatever is attainable by God's grace. He is not at all attached to improving his social status or improving the status of education of his children. He is not neglectful, he is dutiful, but he does not spend too much time on the upliftment of temporary household or social life. He fully engages in the service of the Lord, and for other affairs, he simply spares as much time as absolutely necessary. Yatartham upayunjita. Such a pure devotee does not care for what is going to happen in the next life or in this life. He does not even care for family, children, or society. He fully engages in the service of the Lord and Krishna consciousness. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that without the knowledge of the devotee, the Lord arranges for his devotee to be immediately transferred to his transcendental abode just after leaving his body. After quitting his body, he does not go into the womb of another mother. The ordinary common living entity after death is transferred to the womb of another mother, according to his karma or activities, to take another type of body. But as far as the devotee is concerned, he is at once transferred to the spiritual world in the association of the Lord. That is the Lord's special mercy. How it is possible is explained in the following verses. Because he is all-powerful, the Lord can do anything and everything. He can excuse all sinful reactions. He can immediately transfer a person to Vaikuntha Loka. That is the conceivable power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is favorably disposed to the pure devotees. Nanyatra mar bhagavata pradhana purusheshvarat atmana sarva bhutanam payanti brahmni vartate. The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. Purport. It is indicated herein that the cycle of birth and death cannot be stopped unless one is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. It is said, Harin vina nasritim taranti. One cannot surpass the cycle of birth and death unless one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same concept is confirmed herewith. One may take to the system of understanding the absolute truth by one's own imperfect sensory speculation, or one may try to realize the self by the mystic yoga process. But whatever one may do, unless he comes to the point of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no process can give him liberation. One may ask if this means that those who are undergoing so much penance and austerity by strictly following the rules and regulations are endeavoring in vain. The answer is given by Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:2-32. Yenera Lindaksha Vimuktamanina. Lord Brahma and other demigods prayed to the Lord when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki. My dear lotus-eyed Lord, there are persons who are puffed up with the thoughts that they have become liberated or one with God, or have become God. But in spite of thinking in such a puffed up way, their intelligence is not laudable. They are less intelligent. It is stated that their intelligence, whether high or low, is not even purified. In purified intelligence, a living entity cannot think otherwise than to surrender. Bhagavad Gita, therefore, confirms that purified intelligence arises in the person of a very wise man. Bahunam janmanam ante, jnanavam mam prapaddate. After many, many births, one who is actually advanced in intelligence surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Without the surrendering process, one cannot achieve liberation. The Bhagavatam says, those who are simply puffed up, thinking themselves liberated by some non-devotional process, are not polished or clear in intelligence, for they have not yet surrendered unto you, in spite of executing all kinds of austerities and penances, or even arriving at the brink of spiritual realization and Brahman realization. They think that they are in the effulgence of Brahman, but actually, because they have no transcendental activities, they fall down to material activities. One should not be satisfied simply with knowing that one is Brahman. One must engage himself in the service of the Supreme Brahman. That is bhakti. The engagement of Brahman should be the service of Parabrahman. It is said that unless one becomes Brahman, one cannot serve Brahman. One cannot serve Brahman. The Supreme Brahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the living entity is also Brahman. Without realization that he is Brahman, spirit soul, an eternal servitor of the Lord, if one simply thinks that he is Brahman, his realization is only theoretical. He has to realize that at the same time to engage with, he has to realize and at the same time engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. Then he can exist in the Brahman status. Otherwise, he falls down. The Bhagavatam says that because non-devotees neglect the transcendental loving service of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, their intelligence is not sufficient, and therefore these persons fall down. The living entity must have some activity. If he does not engage in the activity of the transcendental service, he must fall down to material activity. As soon as one falls down to material activity, there is no rescue from the cycle of birth and death. It is stated here by Lord Kapila, without my mercy, Nandyatra Mad Bhagavata. The Lord is stated here to be Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, indicating that he is full of all opulences and therefore perfectly competent to deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. He is also called Pradhan because he is the Supreme. He is equal to everyone, but to one who surrenders unto him, he is especially favorable. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy, and no one is his friend. But to one who surrenders unto him, he is especially inclined. By the grace of the Lord, simply by surrendering unto him, one can get out of the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, one may go on in many, many lives, and many, many times attempt other processes for liberation. Mar bhayar bati batoyam suryastapati mar bhayat varshatindra dahatyagnir mrityuscharati mat bhayat. And Dandavat pranams Madhuri, Vishal Madhuri, and Silidashi, I don't know, yeah, and there's somebody else, but it only says Facebook user on my computer. Did I read this already? Mar bhayar bati batoyam suryastapati mar bhayat varshatindra dahatyagnir mrityuscharati mar bhayat. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows. Oh, there's a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur like this. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me. The sun shines out of fear of me. And the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, says in Bhagavad Gita that the natural laws being enacted are correct in all activities because of his superintendence. No one should think that nature is working automatically, without superintendence. The Vedic literature says that the clouds are controlled by the demigod Indra. Heat is distributed by the sun god. The soothing moonlight is distributed by Chandra, and the air is blowing under the arrangement of the demigod Vayu. But above all these demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the chief living entity. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their faithfulness, their devotional service attitude, they have been promoted to such posts. The different demigods or directors, such as Chandra, Varuna, and Vayu, are called Adhikari Devata. The demigods are departmental heads. The government of the Supreme Lord consists not only of one planet or two or three. There are millions of planets and millions of universes. The government of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a huge government, and he requires assistance. The demigods are considered his bodily limbs. These are the descriptions of the Vedic literature. Under these circumstances, the sun god, the moon god, the fire god, and the air god are working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. The natural laws are being conducted under his superintendence. Because he is in the background, everything is being performed punctually and regularly. One who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely protected from all other influences. He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone else. Of course, he is not disobedient to anyone, but his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. The statements by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapila that under his direction the air is blowing, the fire is burning, and the sun is giving heat are not sentimental. The impersonalists may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as a Supreme Personality of Godhead and assign qualifications to him. But actually, it is neither imagination nor an imposition of artificial power in the name of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is said, Bishasmad Vata Pavate Bishodeti Surya. By fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind god and the sun god are acting. Bishasmad Agnis Chandrascha Mrityur Dhavati Panchama. Agni, Indra, and Mrityu, that's the fire god, Indra, and the god of death, are also acting under his direction. These are the statements of the Vedas. Jnana Vairagya Yuktena Bhakti Yogena Yogina Shemaya Paramulame Pravishantya Kuto Bhayam. The yogis, equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation, and engaged in devotional service for their eternal benefit, take shelter of my lotus feet. And since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead without fear. Purport. One who actually wants to be liberated from the entanglement of this material world and go back home, back to Godhead, is actually a mystic yogi. The words explicitly used here are yuktena bhakti yogena. Those yogis or mystics who engage in devotional service are the first-class yogis. The first-class yogis, as described in Bhagavad Gita, are those who are constantly thinking of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. These yogis are not without knowledge and renunciation. To become a bhakti yogi means to automatically attain knowledge and renunciation. That is the consequent result of bhakti yoga. In the Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, it is also confirmed that one who engages in the devotional service of Vasudeva Krishna has complete transcendental knowledge and renunciation, and there is no explanation for these attainments. Ahoituki, without reason, they come. Even if a person is completely illiterate, the transcendental knowledge of the scriptures is revealed unto him simply because of his engagement in devotional service. That is also stated in the Vedic literature. To anyone who has full faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Spiritual Master, all the import of the Vedic literatures is revealed. He does not have to seek separately. The yogis who engage in devotional service are full in knowledge and renunciation. If there is a lack of knowledge and renunciation, it is to be understood that one is not in full devotional service. The conclusion is that one cannot be sure of entrance into the spiritual realm, in either the impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence of the Lord or the Vaikuntha planets within that Brahman effulgence, unless he is surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. The surrendered souls are called Akuto Bhaya. They are doubtless and fearless, and their entrance into the spiritual kingdom is guaranteed. Etavaneva lokesmin pungsam nishayasodhaya tivrena bhakti yogena manomayarpitam stiram. Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. Purport. Here the words mano mai arpitam, which mean the minds being fixed on me, are significant. One should not fix his mind on the lotus. One should fix. Why did I say not? One should fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna or his incarnation. To be fixed steadily in that freedom is the way of liberation. Ambarish Maharaj is an example. He fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. He spoke only on the pastimes of the Lord. He smelled only the flowers and tulasi offered to the Lord. He walked only to the temple of the Lord. He engaged his hands in cleansing the temple. He engaged his tongue in tasting the foodstuffs offered to the Lord. And he engaged his ears in hearing the great pastimes of the Lord. In that way, all his senses were engaged. What's that verse? Savai Mana Krishna Padara Viddayo. That's the verse. First of all, the mind should be engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord, very steadily and naturally. Because the mind is the master of the senses, when the mind is engaged, all the senses become engaged. That is bhakti yoga. Yoga means controlling the senses. The senses cannot be controlled in the proper sense of the term. They are always agitated. This is true also with a child. How long can he be forced to sit down silently? That it is not possible. Even Arjuna said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. The mind is always agitated. The best course is to fix the mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. Mano mai arpitam stiram. If one seriously engages in Krishna consciousness, that is the highest perfectional stage. All Krishna conscious activities are in the highest perfectional level of human life. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 25th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled The Glories of Devotional Service. Okay, I'm actually going to end here, even though we still have 20 minutes. Because, for these next few days, actually, I have, like, the next 3 days, I have, actually, just until Gurudev's Vyas Puja, really, I have, ginormous list of things that I have to do for the Gaudiya Kirtan app, which we're going to release on Gurudev's Vyas Puja, version 1, finally. So from today until Gurudev's Vyas Puja, it's just going to be short readings every day. And then after Gurudev's Vyas Puja is over and things are a bit more relaxed, then I can go back to reading an hour or 50 minutes every day. But Raseshwari Mataji wanted me to play Mridanga today. So I'll do that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Giridhari Shri Radha Vinar Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai Nitya Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudev ki Jai Nitya Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki Jai Nitya Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shata Shishmad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki Jai Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki Jai Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatara Shatashmad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki Jai Nitil Vishnu Mahabhagavat Shila Gokshara Svavaji Maharaj ki Jai Nitil Vishnu Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai Nitil Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Shri Rupa Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shara Gosai Prabhu ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai Namachay Shri Hairas Thakur ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Vraja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradakta Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki Jai Shri Mona Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namo Vanchakalpataruveshta Kripa Santo Vyayavacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Dandavad Pranam Hari Bo Essentially next time the Mridanga with other mic. Okay. Okay. Hari Bo, Indira Mataji, Ganga, Madhuri, Misha. Yeah, Hari Bo. Oh, and I'm thinking after my Gurudev's Yas Puja, I want to start doing kirtan in the evenings again. Yeah, anyways, we'll figure it out. I'll talk about that when it comes. Okay, Hari Bo. Oh, sorry. One last thing. On my Gurudev's Yas Puja, I was thinking to read. I'm not sure if I should start before Vyas Puja. No, I think I'll do it on my Gurudev's Vyas Puja. There's a new book that we're working on. It's called Shri Guru Vandana, and it's full of all different articles by all of our acharyas, newly translated articles, never before published in English. And then also some new, really beautiful, beautiful article by my Gurudev. It's a really long one, but new topic, things I've never heard before. And it's amazing, mind-blowing. So, and then after that, we have homages from all the main acharyas from all the different Gaudiya mats. And then there's this really beautiful collection of all different offerings from, not just from sannyasis and senior devotees, but also from, just from all us little guys and even grand disciples of Gurudev, but really very beautiful offerings. And so, yeah, I'd like to read from that book on, but we aren't going to publish it on Gurudev's Vyas Puja Day. We're going to publish it, we're finishing it on Gurudev's Vyas Puja Day, but it's going to be sent to the printers on Gurudev's Vyas Puja Day. But I will read it online here. So you'll be the first ones to read it before it goes to